News from the front. The autumn offensive is in full swing. The disastrous defeat of the German panzer forces has stripped the once feared General Guderian of his mightiest weapon. Our men advance steadily, liberating territory from enemy occupation. Locals in Warsaw welcome Russian soldiers and celebrate their arrival. In the Balkans, from Skopje to Sofia to Bucharest, Moscow Accord forces have driven back exhausted Austrian troops, grieve with civilians over the discovery of mass graves, and note down the accusations of atrocities committed by the occupiers. Military courts deal swiftly with the perpetrators. Hundreds of thousands of young men have surrendered, preferring POW camps to pointless death on foreign soil. Our men, veterans of years of fighting, are a marked contrast to the increasingly inexperienced and poorly trained enemy soldiers. As the Baltic fleet gets ready to set sail, the Tsar vows to bring an end to this war quickly. The supply in the Central Asian area is actually relatively desolate. However, we have captured a supply hub, although the Indian troops have captured, our troops are just coming along. So I'm going to prioritize getting that connected. And one more. Oh, that's a lake. Okay, we're going to go around. So let's get that built up. That would be this one. Yeah. So these need to be prioritized, and I'm actually building up the rest of the railways here as well to get a bit more supply into the region. However, as it stands, we potentially have from here on out we can move troops, I think, quite effectively towards the main line. Then just move along the trail of the railway and move towards the enemy capital. We have been assisting our Indian comrades, so we may as well advance with the troops that are currently available, and see if we can make any kind of progress here. I can probably let's make sure that this line is secure and push a little bit ahead, and then we'll see if we can flood the region somewhat. The last of the Ismails is going to be complete in its refit in one day, and then the Black Sea fleet can actually sail out for training exercises, because there are a few ships here which are relatively new, so we're still waiting for the reinforcement. We'll do some training exercises in the Baltic, and then over winter, let's actually have a look what the status is. Yeah, we've got 1,000 naval mines in the Baltic Sea. So if we can get the Germans to come out from their ports, then that would be then they'll both have to run into mines, and they will be faced with the actual Black Sea fleet at this point. We are 36 days away from the advanced air launch torpedoes, and then we'll start constructing naval bombers as well. In the northern region, we'll have to actually get the troops now reshuffled around the Warsaw line, but we've got the south pretty much cleared here, so we can get. There's no need to do this, but we can get the mountain divisions lined up for a push towards Sarajevo and Belgrade, and to retake the territories. This is terrain that they're actually designed for a change. So we'll make our way through the mountains, and their goal is going to be to liberate pretty much all of the occupied territories in the south, which then will allow us, once we've cut up the north, to create a second push through the Carpathians if necessary, or we'll send the tanks through the lowlands towards Belgrade, and then towards Budapest, and then eventually towards Vienna itself, knocking the United States of Greater Austria out of the war. We'll have to see that we can get the aircraft actually pulled up. So let's get the scout planes, where we're going to do we have an airport here? We do. Let's get the scout planes there and make sure that the Central Balkans is correctly organized, and we will probably be fighting more on the northern line. So I'm going to get the I am going to get which air zone is that going to be actually that we'll be fighting on? Probably the Polish air zone, to be honest. Yeah, this is going to be the next salient that we're going to collapse. So we'll bring the close air support wings north. Did I have I did have a few in training somewhere, if I remember correctly. Actually, I do have a few ungrouped wings, so I'm going to have to organize that a little bit better. We'll be sending some engineering crews to construct a forward air base in the African theater, and that'll allow us to be a little bit more efficient in pushing south towards Elizabethville. We're not going to have the range, and actually, it might be better. It might be better to build it here almost. I think either way we're not going to have the range though. But that might be slightly closer. But I'm also not certain that we're not getting counterattacked there. So yeah, these lines are potentially flaky. We'll build it up here. And that'll allow us to deploy forward deploy a few aircraft into, or actually we might not do that, but instead we'll build it up in Dar es Salaam. What's our range out of Dar es Salaam? Let's see. If we got the fighters here, not going to have range towards Elizabethville. Actually, the airbase is too small, so I might actually just leave them here, but instead increase the size of the airbase. There we go. Otherwise, because I'm not entirely certain that we'll be going to be holding the central plateau here, as friendly troops are scarce now that India, I think, has mostly pulled their troops off the lines in Africa. We might actually look at a deteriorating situation. All the more importantly that we are assisting the Indian troops here. So I'm going to start reorganizing the shortcuts again, because they have pulled a lot of troops out of Africa, I believe, and that means we will the sooner we finish this up, the faster we can get the troops back to Africa, where they would do more good. In the meantime, we do have to clear out these front lines here. So that is also no longer needed. So for now, let's get everybody who's available to join. Actually, we've already beaten them here, I think. So even if we lose this position, I think the 181st is already moving into the mountain position. Yes. So as soon as we have that position and have all 8 enemy divisions encircled, then we'll attack them from all directions. I will actually move the troops a little bit. There's no reason for this division to be here. They can move a bit north in order to get more supply. And we should be able to hold on. I'm not sure why this division isn't joining yet. So we are getting attacked from 2 sides here. So we might get pushed back. But as long as we can manage to close the loop here before that happens. Yeah, the lines are suddenly looking extremely thin due to the Indians pulling their troops out. So that is potentially a bit of a problem. We have bound a fair amount of enemy troops in the area here, but not really an opportunity for the Marines to do much in terms of pushing into the lands. I think taking the capital is going to be what we'll do. Otherwise, we might. No, this doesn't even belong to Middle Africa. Middle Africa is only this part. This is actually held by Germany itself. So I don't think that actually would even count if we were to invade Madagascar. All right, here we're relocating the mountaineers for the push into the Balkans, and that means we can make ourselves useful where the light tanks are organized here. And I think we have supply. So we could even meet up at Lwów and see if we can capture, or we can encircle this whole region here. So let's see. I'm going to shorten the lines for the 6th Army's light tanks, whose This is a little disjointed. So let me tidy that up quickly. Okay, somewhat more organized. We've got the 16th Army holding the southern flank. We've got the 2nd Army holding the northern line for the push, and we've got the light tank divisions of the 6th Army organized here. What I'm actually going to do is give the Guards divisions the super heavy artillery, because I do have a fair few of these laying around. So, and I think they're only capable at support. Yeah, they're only as support companies they're available. So that would need 290 super heavy howitzer, and we've got 370 available. So let's bring the 200 millimeter howitzers in for the Guards divisions. We can deploy these into the fields. And the light tank divisions actually are missing a self-propelled artillery, to be honest. So if I was to change these as well, we would need 24. Yeah, we still have that much. So we'll assign these as well. And instead of maintenance, no, they actually have recon. So that's probably all right. Yeah. We don't need to. We could switch these over to logistics as well. That would reduce the supply use quite a bit. So let's do that too. Okay, and we are researching the better logistics companies, so the effect will be compounded from that. Right. So while the troops will be organizing themselves, so we'll keep an eye on the Africa situation and of the Central Asia situation until we can launch the next offensive. The heavy tanks have to move into Warsaw. Warsaw itself is connected, but the railway needs to be improved. So let's make that happen. So Warsaw, Königsberg, as much as possible. That railway needs to be upgraded. So priorities. I'm actually going to deprioritize at this point the dockyards, because we don't need them that urgently, and also let's prioritize the railway connections and the airport in Dar es Salaam to eventually send some additional aircraft there, if that helps with operations. All right. So in the meantime, while everything organizes itself, we'll keep an eye on the situation in Africa. I think that's the most critical, especially that India has mostly abandoned the lines here. So this might actually get relatively dicey. We might have to send additional forces, but let's see how that's going to look like. I'm also waiting for the September 8 to get the last ship refitted. So now we should have, yes, we have a complete Baltic fleet, and we have a few ships, including the 2 Sevastopol class battleships that are still untrained. So we'll have to do some actual naval exercises. So let's make that happen. This is going to happen in the Gulf of Finland, which should be reasonably close to home. There's the fleet. Can't see it from all the mines, but it's there. And we'll get these trained up. Then we are going to, and I'm actually going to designate as many as I possibly can. Can I not enter this? No. Can I not hold this? Neither. Okay, I'm going to designate the maximum number of dockyards to the repair queue, because I want this fleet up and ready as quickly as we can. We're building a few more of the Vitebsk destroyers, as well as the 2 dreadnoughts. So we can build a few more submarines. I think this is still the most modern that we have. So let's get another line of the submarines going. And this is just for the reserve fleet. So if we have to replace losses in escort ships, that is one of the mistakes often made, not to have reserves for the escort fleet. All right, enemy counterattacks across the lines here, but I'm more interested at this point in the African situation, and to make sure that now we have all available troops here. So let's begin attacking this position. And now obviously they get the encirclement penalty, and we've got 8 divisions. 8 divisions that will be encircled here and hopefully destroyed. If anybody else wants to join, that would be much appreciated. But we'll take what we can. We'll take what we can get. I might, unfortunately, unfortunately, we've lost the supply hub again in the north. So with India retreating, I think the push towards Elizabethville is going to need additional forces, unfortunately. So with the few divisions that we have available here, this might not be easily achieved. Do I have any troops that I can spare that we can send to the region? Well, I've got a few divisions that I don't necessarily need here, and that would be the 10th Army. Because these are foreign divisions, so we can add the 10th Army to the African theater, and get these troops brought in. We're probably going to be starting in the north, and then retaking or over here to retake our supply positions. So we'll send them. We'll send them here for now, and then we'll move to recapture the supply hubs and see that we have these 2 supply positions need to be retaken if we want to make any progress towards Elizabethville. So we're bringing some reinforcements into Africa, and I'm also going to send. I do have the close air. I've got 2 close air support wings here in training. I can start sending them we'll send them to the Kenyan air base, actually. We'll send our fighters there for now as well, and make sure that we have the aerial superiority. There are a few enemy aircraft actually up in the air, so we're just overloading the airbase here right now. We'll send them north towards Kenya. We might need. We've got 4 additional fighter wings here. We can send these to Kenya as well. So let's bring the Air Force. In and get ourselves some additional firepower there. The rest of the troops is pretty much on. Yeah, it's pretty much on the go to get where they're needed. Light tanks are going to concentrate in the north, and the situation here. We are rapidly advancing, so we can kind of probably focus on this for a little bit. I wonder if we can just break through completely, and we might actually just go this way. We'll break through here, and we'll see if we can just cut off and encircle and cut off these divisions here, destroy the enemy forces, and then make our way towards the capital. So that's going to be the current focus while the Baltic Fleet is running the training exercises. Okay, we really need to get these enemy divisions here out of the way as quickly as we possibly can. Unfortunately, even though they are encircled, they are in mountainous terrain, which is relatively easily defensible. So we'll send troops in. We'll send troops in from all directions, and we'll try to destroy the positions here before we have to retreat towards the defensible lines and then wait for reinforcements to arrive. Meanwhile, in Brazil, when the Empire of Brazil fell in 1889, Pedro II resigned himself to that fate and refused to fight back. Since then, the Republican United States of Brazil have been plagued by economic woes, corruption, and even civil wars. Following a victory by the integralists in elections and public consultation on the matter, today the Emperor Pedro III of Brazil was crowned in an unusually lavish ceremony, even for monarchic standards. Now, the integralists and the new emperor will set their sights on restoring the former glory of Brazil and will no doubt change the nation in a perhaps irreversible fashion. While Republican demonstrations were held at the time of the ceremony, they were swiftly dispersed by the army, and the nation wonders if the empire will finally bring peace to the troubled South American country. New power is rising indeed as part of the Buenos Aires-Lima axis. Quick side note, I'm really keen to play South America. And I'm thinking to do sort of smaller side campaigns with much smaller scope, focusing on some of the minor countries that otherwise don't normally get touched. So I've got a few ideas of countries that I do want to play, and I am I'm going to see if I can throw these out sort of as secondary campaigns at some point when we get to it. All right, main problems that we need to look at is Africa, obviously. So we do need to make sure that we get these divisions eradicated before the other 4 are making their way there. So we're down to 3. Biggest problem we're attacking across the river from here as well. This isn't helping. But we don't have time to move the troops north. If we can take the position before the rest of them retreats, then we would be in a... no, never mind. They've made it there. So despite being encircled, they're obviously resisting as much as they possibly can. Now, here we have made significant progress very rapidly without necessarily paying attention. So let's get that encircled division dealt with. Obviously, the Indian troops are helping here along the lines as well. How's our supply situation? Okay, we've got supply connected. Railways have been built. And that means we can actually, we're wrapping this up rather quickly. We can push back these troops here while we are moving further towards the capital. Let's begin with Diwa, the city of Diwa, but we have no supply in the north here because we are completely out of range of any supply. But then neither do they. So we can probably see if we can join the lines here and just still push a little bit forward, because these enemy troops are very much not up to par for modern combat. Let me put it that way. Mongolia wants to send 2 divisions as expeditionary forces. Yes, sure, I'll take them. So these 2, we got. And honestly, I'm not going to be using, or I might as well use them here. So they can join the 13th Army for starters. We do also have paratrooper forces now available. So let's get these 2 Mongolian divisions assigned. And we have that goes into the European theater. We have a new army, a new special forces group, and we are going to have to find somebody for the 18th Army. Do I have anyone available? Ideally, for this, I would really want someone with the appropriate skills. And skilled staffer doesn't help me. I might have to reassign somebody, because I need someone with the commando skill ideally. Combined arms doesn't help me. Do we have somebody? We have somebody who I'll have a look around and see who I can find who I can reassign to the troops. So the only person available would be Drozdovsky, but he is otherwise occupied because he's leading the 8th Army, and I need him at the front lines. So instead, I think I'm just going to assign somebody. Let's see, who do we have? Armor officer doesn't help me. Brilliant strategist might work. Career officer. And he's an organizer. That might work. Cavalry doesn't help me. Cautious and old guard, not for something like this. A skilled staffer doesn't help me. Cavalry doesn't help me. Media person. At least he's reckless. I think we'll get. He is a media personality, and he's reckless. That sounds good. Well, we're going to get Shukuro assigned, and obviously, well, he is a cavalry leader, which doesn't help us, but he's going to have to. So I'm going to need him to get to the commando trait, and he will get that. He will get that automatically while leading the paratroopers. Now, what are we going to do with the paratroopers? Not much just yet, because I don't have the. For now, we'll send them. What was the template for this? Yeah, just relatively small. But it is a 10 combat width, reasonably capable division. So for now, we're going to send them to Africa. And we might be able to bring some transport planes over if it comes to that. So for now, let's bring them to where we're building up the airbase, Dar es Salaam. We'll bring them there, and we'll have them train for now. So they will be running exercises, but we'll bring them south, and we will see if we get sufficient transport aircraft organized. I've got 12 rubber remaining, so where are my transport aircraft? Scout, armored train, there we are. So let's up that to 20. And if we get some new factories coordinated, I'll just schedule them so I don't forget. We'll get some additional factories built. Then we are going to increase the number of transport planes that we have available to us. And yes, I did say I was going to put infrastructure out for basically for production. But honestly, I have so much. I'm actually trading too much for rubber at this point. We don't need. We can reduce one factory here. Yeah, I've got a fair amount of everything, so there's no real urgent need for immediate construction of other than supply. All right, for now, we will see if we can. End the war here against the Kumul Khanate relatively quickly, so the Africa situation doesn't get out of hand. Let's bring in additional troops from wherever we can, possibly. And despite the fact that they're all relatively exhausted, but I think we'll be wearing down the encircled Middle Africa divisions here relatively quickly. And then we'll retreat towards our supply lines, and then we'll have to retake the important supply positions. Currently not training any divisions. That is, yeah, we're relatively close to the max supporters division, so I don't necessarily need to train an awful lot of divisions at this point, and I'll have some leeway here. Okay, tanks are ready for the next push, so let's begin. And the idea is to make our way north towards Lvov. This isn't the ideal terrain, as is mountainous here actually, but we need to get through there. So we might actually use the infantry to get through there and send the tanks elsewhere. So, what do we have available? We've got some troops here that we can send in. Tanks moving north, and yeah, we'll unify this. And the idea is to move through the forests. Oh, there's the 6th Panzer Division coming up. Maybe we'll shortcut it, and instead of going directly for Lvov, we'll simply push north, and we will get the rest of the infantry. We might leave a division behind, a division or two behind here from the push, just to make sure we're holding the lines. So with that, I think we can cut off this particular salient there relatively quickly. And then we can destroy this, shorten the lines, and then clear it out. Somebody suggested just battle planning it. Yes, I agree. At some point I might, but for now, Warsaw is very much very much still undersupplied. Yeah, the Warsaw-Königsberg line is going to take a little bit of time for everything to be organized here. We might actually, this might help with supply as well. Since we're here, we might actually simply take this position here. That should be doable without too much trouble if we attack from all sides. What I find is that with battle planning, I generally take a lot of casualties, which I'm not a particularly big fan of. So I tend not to most of the time. And also things tend to get a little chaotic often, so I'm not really a particularly huge fan of that approach. We might be able to see if we can take Kashgar, if we bring the troops around from both sides and encircle the enemy divisions there, cut them off. And I think in Africa, yes, we've cleared out the positions, which means that now we can work on retaking the vital supply hub. So let's get these troops lined up here, and we'll deal with the offensive line later. But for now, we'll just bring the troops over to retake the supply hubs, to push the enemy back again. The Bismarckburg has changed hands multiple times here, while our northern lines here are starting to look increasingly thin. So let's push them back once more and ensure that we are... This also needs to be retaken. So let's push them back once more and ensure that we are able to do this. I might actually, where did I send the? Oh yeah, I sent them north here. Yeah, we'll have to wait for the 10th Army divisions to show up. They're currently up. They're already here, so it works out reasonably quickly. Right, mountain divisions are in place. Planning. Okay, I'm going to wait at least until they have the plans organized. Armored divisions are pushing north here without too much trouble. Are going to be joined by the infantry, and there we go. And for now, we can simply we have encircled yet again. With a swift move, we have encircled 9, 11, 14, 19, 21, 23, more than a field army. So let's collapse this. Let's collapse this position here with all the troops available. Can I? Okay, these divisions. Collapse this, please. And then we can. The rest of the light tanks is already moving on. Supply in Warsaw has been consolidated. Heavy tanks, I think, are mostly in position. I'm not sure why you are over here, but I'll take it. We can then, we can simply start moving with the heavy tanks. But we do have to mind our supply. But there's plenty of supply hubs here now that we're holding Warsaw. So let's begin clearing out the. Let's begin clearing out the Polish positions, and we'll simply have the heavy tanks lead the charge here into enemy territory. And we'll look at that in a second. I just want to check. Yeah, it's getting a little ridiculous. 2,500 breakthrough. So yeah, these divisions are. First of all, one thing that you'll notice is the lack of experience. So these are green divisions. They have no fighting experience. And also, obviously, the 1,000 soft attack and the breakthrough obviously being defense while attacking is quite significant. So the air support, the experience, and the planning bonus is really what's adding these. And it goes again to show, just as a quick aside, it goes again to show how powerful battle plans are, or how powerful planning in general is. Okay, we've got a few things to do though. We've got the Osavia, and with that we need one of the. Okay, we've only got these two choices: range or agility. Range. absolutely range. And we have a full metal airframe, which means I can design a few more planes. I'm going to start researching a bit better transport aircraft, just because that starts becoming a thing. So let's design a few new planes. We've got the advanced small airframe now, so we can design a new fighter, and we can design a new. In fact, we can actually get all these away, and we can design a new close air support. So right now, our close air support has 2 rocket rails and the anti-tank cannons, whereas the fighters simply have 3 heavy machine guns. All right, let's begin, shall we? Advanced small airframe. All right, so that is level 3 engines. Am I up to date with engine research? I think I am. Yeah, we'll get to the level 4 engines eventually, but for now this will do. So we've got. We do have the cannons. That costs me 2 agility though. Do I have better cannons that I still need to research? I think I do. So hang on. I did research the. Okay. Wait, this is confusing. Let me double check that. So if we go for the advanced small airframe, I have cannons, but I technically haven't researched them. What's going on here? What am I missing? I haven't done the cannons research, so I shouldn't be having these. These are still quite ahead of time. So for now, I think we're going to get large cannons, but all of these are more interceptor weapons really, although they would be probably pretty good against fighters as well. Okay, so for some reason I have these available. Anyway, let's begin, and this is why is this sorted weirdly. Let's begin with the advanced small airframe. So I could put the twin cannons in here. The advantage would be slightly more air attack, but at the cost of agility. It doesn't make a massive difference because we're not fighting. We don't have any enemy fighters up in large numbers. I'm gonna stick with the heavy machine guns for now. I think just because unless I was going, and I can't fit another one in. Okay, that's unfortunate. I don't want with recon equipment necessarily. That would just up the production cost for no reason because I'm never going to use these for recon. I could build multi-roles, I guess. We could give them rocket rails. This would be the anti-tank cannons are significantly reducing agility, but it doesn't actually make that much of a difference. We could give him the we could put anti-tank cannons in here, and then we basically have multi-role fighters. That might not actually be a terrible idea. Rocket rails aren't bad, but okay, the anti-tank cannons are seriously heavy though. We'll have to. We'll try. We'll see if that works. So. No. What if we put rocket rails in? That works. So if we're on air superiority, if we're on CAS, it's 22. Yeah. So that works, which means we can we have some ground attack capabilities. Although it's very limited with 4 ground attack, and we're going to have significant losses against enemy AA. It might not be worth it. So let's do it like this. What's the range on these? We're going to have to compare that to the I-185s. The base range is actually already better. So We have lowered agility. Why do we have lower agility? Oh no, sorry. We have better agility. That's the old one. We have better agility, the same air attack, and better range. Other than that, we still have to fit in. Did I put in armor plates or self-sealing fuel tanks? Probably not. Okay, the armor plates would reduce the range. Let me just quickly check the check the old design. So what did we have? Yeah, armor plates, drop tanks, and the heavy machine guns. Basically, it's going to be a very similar layout, just with the difference that we're still running the actual machine guns. And I might have to do the cannons research at some point. So if we're putting armor plates in, then the range is significantly reduced. Or we could just put the self-sealing, or we could just leave it out, honestly. So what if we just did it like this? It is a more agile, slightly lower air defense, but it is a more agile, better ranged module without the extra fuel tanks, and has a better thrust-to-weight ratio. And we might start out with this, and we might improve that a little bit going forward. Alternatively, I could stick a defense turret on, but that is not going to change the air defense. No, ideally the self-sealing fuel tanks would be good, but that costs an extra rubber. That's why not. We'll put self-sealing fuel tanks in. There we go. Then we have better air defense, same air attack, better agility, and we will eventually add some larger cannons in there once we can. So we'll save that for now. We got the I-30, and then we are going to design a ground attack. What are we currently running? Got the 2 rocket rails, the anti-tank cannons, drop tanks, the self-sealing fuel tanks, and the engines. So let's see what we can do here. Anti-tank cannon sounds like a good start. I can only fit one of these in. I could fit in one of those, but it's not really worth it. And I think the rocket rails then really are the better option. So compare that here. Let's see how many rocket rails we can fit onto that thing. As many as we want, actually. And single engine aircraft. But not the same, not quite the same range. Now. I could, this would be for naval targeting. We don't need that. We could use these against naval targets, but I prefer to use dedicated aircraft. Now here I could use well, it doesn't actually matter. So I think I'm just going to put the armor plates in because it unfortunately against AA fire in the game it doesn't matter. So this is more just me wanting to do this somewhat historically accurate. And then we might put the drop tanks or the extra fuel tanks. Which one gives me more range? The extra fuel tanks give me more range at a slightly lower air defense. Yeah, we'll put extra fuel tanks in. That gets the range up to 1160 kilometers at faster base speed, and we have the. We should actually have more ground attack. Okay. Well. Anyway, we'll go with that. So that is going to be the BSH-10. We'll save that. And now I just have to change the production lines, and then that is the That's this one, and that is the I-30, and the I-30 fighter aircraft. All right, there we go. Nothing to be converted, obvious reasons, but we will be bringing these to the front lines as soon as they become available. Okay, where were we? We're running assaults here against the city of Diwa, against Kumul defenders, but we do have a Mongolian cavalry available here, so we can take some of the outlying villages in the south, and then we'll make our way. Here. Do we have any further supply hubs? Yes, that is the supply hub. So once we've got that ready, we do need railway connections. Where's the closest line here? Probably this one. So we'll create a railway here already, just to get our troops connected. And I think I can divert one division. Let's see, can I divert one division? Okay, we're getting counterattacked actually. Once the defense is complete, then we'll divert another division towards the attack on the city. There we go. And with that, I think we've broken through here without too much trouble, despite being desperately out of supply in the area. We are looking to potentially cut off and encircle some enemy troops here, but it's not vital that we do this. How far away is the Kumul Khanate? Okay, I'm going to have to look at a different war. It's not this. Oh yeah, there we go. Okay, they're still holding relatively strong, but I think, yeah, they've given up some territory relatively easily in the north. But we will be Mongolia is actually helping control that quite effectively. We'll be taking territory here and the more vital positions relatively soon. In Africa, troops are moving into position, while German troops out of Portuguese-controlled areas are moving against the defenders near Dar es Salaam. And at least they're holding the railway line now. We have to retake Kampala again, of course, but we're waiting for additional troops to show up. All right, here we are about to cut off and destroy some enemy troops here, as the tank divisions are simply rolling through enemy territory here without much concern for anything. So we'll pin enemy forces. We'll pin enemy forces where available. Okay, they have reconnected in the north. Doesn't matter. We're bringing additional infantry in anyway, so we'll cut off and destroy enemy forces here. Just leave the occasional tank division behind. With the firepower that these heavy tanks have, we should be able to do that relatively quickly either way. All right, so Diwa is still under attack. Okay, Diwa has been taken. I'm gonna have to reorganize these front lines here. So let me do that and make sure that all of these divisions are on the right front lines. This one too, and this one as well. Okay. So Diwa has been taken, which means once we have the railway built or captured in the south, respectively, then we'll be set supply-wise. So in the meantime, we're simply going to push east here and make our way towards the enemy capital of Kumul. In Africa, troops they have started pushing us back quite a bit. Yes, so we are going to, but we do have, that means we do actually have supply for a change. So these troops are going to be tasked with retaking, retaking the positions there. So let's get everybody moved to the front lines north. We'll clear this area, get the supply hub under control, and from there on then we'll make a move south. It looks like the German East Asian troops, the Wehrbezirkskommandos here, are starting to run a bit low on equipment as well, so that's generally a good thing. All right, front lines. Everything more or less has been cleared out and joined here. More significant losses in the European theater. 140,000 and 70,000, so what, over 200,000 men have capitulated. We're about to encircle another group of enemy troops here. So let's already begin shortening the lines while we're at it. All troops on the offensive, and we're about to take the town of Chelm, and now we'll be clearing out the last remnants of enemy forces here. Tank divisions can join as well, and that should clear that up relatively quickly. That leaves us with the 6th Army light tanks, which can continue their assault against Lvov, and we should have troops in the north here that can join to connect the lines here without too much trouble. We are going to get infantry supporting the lines here. If we're getting pushed back a little at times, it's not essential. We can now run assaults as well in the Balkans. So let's begin. To mount offensives from the... How are we supply-wise here? We should have... Skopje has supply, Tirana has supply. Yeah, let's take the next supply hub. And the northern wing is going to assault... we can't actually get in there. Okay, we'll just assault it directly. We'll be assaulting Pristina, and then make our way further through as we go, pushing north into the mountainous areas. Okay, so we're pushing back exhausted Austrian troops, and these mountain divisions under Ungarn Sternberg have a significant amount of firepower. These are some of our most experienced units. We do have currently the... I'm going to probably send them some air support. I definitely need more close air support wings, to be honest. And is there any enemy aircraft in sight anywhere? No, there are no enemy. There are few enemy aircraft here in the Polish air zone, but we've got that under control pretty well. So yeah, that whatever is left, whatever gets brought up by the enemy is relatively quickly shot down. Have my aircraft arrived in Africa? That would be the next question. They have indeed, and the close air support wings can begin bombardment missions. I have unfortunately no aces for CAS wings. That's another weird thing that happened. For some reason, I don't seem to be getting aces in CAS. We might have range. We might have range to the positions there. We'll see, but that should, yeah. Aircraft are coming in to support the beleaguered defenders, and we are waiting for additional troops to arrive before we make the push, the concentrated push in that direction. In where are we? In the Kumul Khanate, we are yes, once again completely out of supply. That is probably due to, yeah, the railway lines are a bit weird here. So let's make sure we are connecting this. And that should be done relatively quickly. Then we should have supply in the area, and we should be able to make an assault towards Kumul relatively quickly. So let's actually see if we have any other divisions available to us. Yeah, we've got one infantry division on the move here, but I think the rest is pretty much busy elsewhere. Let's get all available divisions. On the front lines here eastwards, and we'll deal with this little skirmishes there later. Okay. Light tanks are moving ahead, and we are already assaulting Lvov enemy defenses. So despite the fact that the light tanks are obviously not particularly suited towards urban combat, the enemy is routed, and here we have another field army encircled and about to be destroyed. The enemy is routed to the degree that they simply the losses are simply catastrophic at this stage, and the whole front line is effectively in full collapse. We have the Road of Courage complete, which is giving us minus 10% supply use on the logistics companies. So that's a good one immediately. And Shandong has capitulated. So let's have a quick look. Actually, it seems that Japan is starting to make some progress here. And yeah, they're definitely squeezing the Qing government quite significantly. And with the fall of the Kumul Khanate, we'll have yet another element of the Central Asian potential trouble eliminated as well. Although we don't need all these Indian divisions here for sure, but they're here now. They would be of much better use to us in Africa. But it is what it is, and we'll make do with what we have once the troops arrive. Where are my? There they are. Okay, so the 10th Army is arriving in theater, and that means they are reasonably close, which means I can actually give them a front line. Where was the supply position that we lost here? So we need them to retake this. Push the enemy back between the lakes, and the same goes here. And then once that's done, we'll make the move south from there on. I think we don't actually even potentially have to wait for these divisions to arrive. We should have enough forces from here to, well, first of all, that is basically undefended. And that means we can, I think, directly assault the supply hub and already clear out that particular effectively cut off position. All right, what can we do next? We're running a little low on things that I can actually do here. We do have a few more Marines doctrine, don't really need it. A naval doctrine, yeah, we will do the new blood. Let's get that done. Talking about the Navy, how is the fleet looking? I want these at least out of fresh experience. So I need these to be at least on regular experience, ideally a little bit higher. Obviously they are taking damage, so I'm gonna have to get the whole fleet for repairs afterwards. But we're starting to build up a reserve fleet. So we're going to assign these to the Baltic Fleet. What is the symbol that I'm giving them? Where is it? Here. All right. So this is going to be. I'm gonna have to see what that's supposed to be called, because it's most certainly not called First Reserve Fleet. So let me give that a decent name. Okay. Apologies to any Russian speakers if this is nonsense, but I'm just using Google Translate here. So this would be the Eskadrilla Rezerva Navodnik Sil, so the reserve surface fleet. And these ships are obviously going to exercise as well. These are meant as replacements in case the Baltic Fleet is taking any losses. We don't have any skills available for Kedrov, but maybe we get some new admirals coming in. We will see how that goes. All right, multiple combat going on. And I'm almost dropping my headphones off my table here. We are still waiting for supplies to be sorted, so we'll stop for now instead of wasting troops here. In Africa, we're making aggressive advances, and in Europe as well. I think once these losses here once these divisions here have been destroyed. These losses are just catastrophic. Then then the front lines are at this point almost undefended, and there's relatively little that our troops are going that stands in the way of our troops, short of supply. Supply is always the problem, but I think I can also give the mountain divisions more aggressive orders, simply to move towards Sarajevo, and simply to push forwards here, and this one as well. Yeah. We'll be simply pushing along the lines. Here we have a few. We've actually lost a few front lines, so I'm actually going to have to start reorganizing them. But with the lines so broken here, the enemy lines, that is, I think we can move ahead towards Lodz as well. We've got some light tanks here. Now, why are we having light tanks on the northern front line? They must have. We must have accidentally begun joining the front lines at some point. Yeah, things are getting a little chaotic. So let me just reorganize. I don't like it when like a full field army is standing around without actual orders. So I'll reorganize the front lines, and then we will make a concentrated push towards Krakow and get Poland capitulated, and then we've still got some reasonable amount of forces along the southern front, actually, but I think the northern front has been so devastated from the assaults that there's honestly not an awful lot left. Okay, that brings a slight amount of order to the chaos, but I think I still have the Third Army under Pepelayev, which is currently clearing up yet another encirclement. I'm sending the light tanks of the 6th, and we actually have a break here. I'm sending the light tanks of the 6th Army south, and they will be rushing through the open plains towards Budapest. We're going to move the mountaineers all the way through the mountain positions here towards Zagreb. And we're then going to redeploy them here to take care of the mountain positions. So I don't necessarily want to attack into entrenched German infantry in the mountains. That's unnecessarily costly. So plan going forward. I think the German front is significantly collapsing at this point. So we'll take Poland, and then I think I'll assign the heavy tanks as well as some of the field armies to literally push towards Berlin, and we'll make a pincer in the south towards Vienna, and that should then relatively quickly collapse the whole thing. But I do want this a little bit more organized. Right now it's a bit chaotic, and we've got railway guns that aren't at the front lines. So all manner of untidiness that I am not particularly a fan of. I know I can assign these to armies, but I have had bad experiences with that. And also, like the railways aren't yet connected, so it's not that they cannot at times cannot easily move. So that's the situation. We have green air pretty much everywhere. We've won the war in the air. The next battle as well. Once these are reaching, once they're at 54%, so give them another 2 weeks or so until they're combat ready, and then we'll begin hunting the Germans in the Baltic. In Africa, we are making progress here without too much trouble, I believe. They're already defeated. We're making progress here towards retaking the supply positions, and here we are simply waiting for supply to arrive. That's going to take another 5 days until the lines are cleared out and we actually have railway connections to the front. Then we can resupply the troops, and then we can begin the next move. I don't actually think I can concentrate the troops a little bit more southern here, and then we can simply move on to Kumul, and that hopefully will end the war, unless they are the government is retreating south. Then we'll have to work our way around there. But yeah, the supply situations here are pretty dire. So there's really not a particular use. Actually, we might try to just encircle them here if we can. There's not a particular use for fighting it out in these mountains. All right. With that, I think the war in Europe, once again, significant gains on our side, but more importantly, significant losses. The enemy armies have simply collapsed in front of us. And with that, Germany is up to over 7 million casualties. Middle Africa is almost at 1 million. Poland has more or less collapsed, and the Austrians as well. So there is, and Germany East Asia actually has taken significant losses against the Indians as well. Yeah, they're crushing the former possessions. So the Indian Federation is making significant expansionist moves. Japan is making advances in China, slowly but surely. However, the rest of the Pacific seems to be still relatively calm, and the United States have not taken a side in any fashion. So we will see if there's anything coming out of that. We do have... how big is my transport wing at this point? Okay, we've got a transport wing here currently delivering supplies to the front. I think I'm going to stop that because we've taken Warsaw, and I think the supply lines are going to be reasonable. I'm going to start moving that transport wing south, and we will see if we'll see if we can potentially affect an airdrop behind enemy lines towards Elizabethville. But I don't actually know how many transport aircraft I need for that. So we'll find that out as we get to it. And all in all, I would say the Reichspakt, despite having still having significant depth in the rear, especially with Italy and Germany itself, the overwhelming might of the Russian forces at this point, after the losses they've taken in the last 12 months, is catastrophic. And I don't think that was a correct number. We have lost less than 500,000 all in all. So there's that. Still, every man lost is one too many, and let's hope that we can bring this war to an end relatively soon. Finland is still fighting, but honestly, we'll let Finland be Finland. This is not a situation that we necessarily currently need to get involved in. Once the Reichspakt is capitulated, we will see what the stance is between the remnants of the International and the socialists, which are controlling Scandinavia, Britain at this point. And obviously the Entente is still going to have certain ideas here. So we're thinking just a very few remaining Reichspakt convoys. The Reichspakt will collapse, but then we will see how the world will be divided up between the remaining powers.